All right, so the book that I'm going to talk about today is called Salem's Lot by Stephen King. Stephen King is one of my favorite authors. I've been I've been reading him since I was like a teenager, 16, when I first read it. My dad was a fan, so he got me into it, telling me all the stories that he read when he was younger, so I read them. So now and again, I go through stages where I'm like, you know what, I'm going to find a Stephen King book I haven't read, and I'm going to read it. And for some reason, I hadn't read Salem's Lot yet. So I obviously downloaded the book, brought it from iTunes, and I started reading it. So basically, Salem's Lot is about vampires. Now, Stephen King has done, obviously, he's a horror master. He's done a whole lot of, so it's about basically the boogeyman, whatever he is in the sewer. You've got possessed cars, you've got, you name it, he's done it. And not many people, apart from Twilight, obviously, in those cloney teenage books, which I'm not dissing, that they have their fad. They weren't really horror. So no one's really done a proper horror like Salem's Lot since Dracula, obviously. So I better read the blurb to start with, so you can hear what it's all about. So here it is. Salem's Lot is a small New England town with the usual quota of gossips, drunks, weirdos, and respectable folk. Of course, there are tales of strange happenings, but not more than in any other town its size. Ben Mears, a moderately successful writer, returns to the lot to write a novel based on his early years, and to exorcise the terrors that have haunted him since childhood. The event he witnessed in a house now rented by a new resident, a newcomer with a strange allure. A man who causes Ben some unease as things start to happen. A childhood disappearance. A dog is brutally killed. Nothing unusual, except the list starts to grow. Soon surprise will turn into bewilderment to confusion, and finally to terror. All right. Now you know what it's all about. Let's talk about it. So to start with, I've read some reviews about it before I started reading it, and it was like, this book is you can't put it down. It's you've just got to read it to the finish. So it is one of his bigger books. Obviously not as big as it, but some of the bigger ones that he's done. I read it in more than 2 days. I could put it down, but I found the plot thickened quite quickly, and there wasn't. What I really don't like about horror movies is horror books is when the hero or the main character constantly gets put back. In this story, it's actually a story, and it's quite, although it's about vampires, it's quite realistic. So this person comes up with ideas and he executes them. So there's not a lot of setbacks for him. Basically, yeah, it progresses very fast, and he comes up with plans and with his group of people, and he executes them quite successfully. And so, although it's a long book, there's not a lot of setbacks, and it just progresses in a natural state where you don't get annoyed with it. You just want to know what happens next. All right, let's talk about the vampires. The vampires follow the traditional rules, which I really liked. There's no shining, shimmering vampires like in Twilight, although I'm not saying I don't like Twilight. I was a huge Twilight fan in my younger years. Anyway, so yeah, like I say. Now the ending, because I always find the ending a really important book. You don't want to spend days and hours reading a book and be disappointed by the ending. The ending of Salem's Lot, although it kind of followed what the book said it was going to do. So they came up with the plan and they executed the plan. And then it finished and you were like, okay, well, that was really satisfying. It wasn't thrilling and unexpected. You knew what was going to happen, and you were a little bit surprised that the characters didn't have a setback. There was little sneaky things they put in which you were surprised at, don't get me wrong. But it finished and you're satisfied. Yeah, so at the end there was a couple of 100 pages after the story had finished, which were like short stories but still about Salem's Lot, which I found interesting. Some of them were better than others. It kind of had the how it all happened back in the day before the book took place, and then some of the short stories or happened after that time. So you kind of got a view between before and after. There was a few different stories that I wasn't into, but all in all, I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the beginning, I enjoyed the middle, and I enjoyed the end, and I enjoyed the little short stories at the very end, but still about Salem's Lot. So there you go. I do recommend it. I hope you read it. I better give you a rating. So I know I'm a little bit into Stephen King, so my rating may be swayed, but I would give it a 5 and 5.4 out of 6.